So I just wanted to really begin. First off, in case you didn't know who I am, I just wanted to kind of introduce myself. My name is Chris Lippincott. I'm an international spiritual medium and best-selling author. I'm also a spiritual teacher, and I really love connecting with everybody here. And I love bringing you all of the things that I've learned over the years about spirit guides, spirit connections, spirit love, and how we can get closer to spirit ourselves because we're all spirit inside, right? So that's what's so phenomenal. And this is what I love doing. So, as you saw earlier, one of the things that I wanted to do was to really talk about spirit guides. And that's really about how we can connect with our spirit guides, right? And so that's what's one of the things that I wanted to do is to bring our topic today is the different ways we can connect with your spirit guides. This is basically going to be covering 10 ways that we can connect with our spirit guides. I've been getting so many questions. How do we connect with our spirit guides? What are the different things we can do? How do we receive their guidance? How do we receive their love? Who are they? Why are they here? And how do we learn from them? Right. And so that's a big deal. It's a big issue, and that's why everybody wants to kind of know this kind of stuff, right? So let's just dive right in and find out what are some of the different ways that we can do this. And so the first thing that you can think about how you can connect with your spirit guide is just get into this habit of asking. And what does that mean? You've got to set the intention, right? Start thinking, why do I want to connect with spirit? What is it I want to know about spirit? How do I want spirit to help me? How do I want my guides to start helping? So the first thing you can do is just to start writing down a list. Write down that list. What is it that you need help with? What are some of those things that you're seeking to find out? Do you need help finding your connections with God? Do you need help with your connections with raising your own spiritual awareness and your own spirituality? Do you need different things within your life that perhaps you need guidance about, right? Another thing to consider is, be very intentional about it and only ask for the highest good and light to be around you. Because you don't want to invite all the neighbors around you, right? You don't want to invite everybody. I mean, you don't know who you're going to get. So you want to be very intentional about who you're connecting with. So only ask for the highest love and light and highest good for all. And that just basically sets that intention, and spirit listens and they have to follow that rule. So that's something to be thinking about. Be very intentional about it. Get in the habit of asking, set that list, and start saying, these are the things that I want to learn. These are the things that I want to know about. These are the things that are very important to me, right? So then once you've got that point of saying, okay, now I have listed my questions, I've gotten into that habit of asking, then you actually have to open up your listening ears. You got to just be more attentive to what it is that you're hearing, because as we go about our daily life, right, we're thinking to ourselves, okay, well, I'm just going to kind of, go about and do my routine. You got to be a little more intentional about it and start saying, yeah, this is something that I really want to listen. So listen to your guides. Remember, the information we're going to get is so subtle. It's that little voice in the back of your mind that is so subtle you can barely hear it. You can't hear it. So you got to make sure that you are paying attention. And if you hear it, listen to it, act on it, right? So what do you do to do that? You meditate. You sit in a silent mode. And there's a special meditation called sitting in the silence. That's literally what you're doing. All you're doing is you're allowing your mind just to get calm and quiet, focus on your breathing, meditate, ask for your spirit guides and love and light to come in and start giving you their information, and you just sit in silence. And whatever you start to get, whatever little pieces of information you get, even if it's that subtle silent piece of information in the back of your mind, pay attention to that, because spirit guides are not going to come in yelling at you and saying, hey, hello, knock, 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 I'm here. I mean, unless it's like an act, they're trying to save your life or something. The guidance they're going to give to you is like a whisper. It's so quiet you can barely hear it. It's so subtle that our ego mind is going to ignore it, and we're going to move beyond it. So you've got to pay attention. So listen, be quiet and be in that frame of mind where you are at a point where you're listening to all that what I'll refer to as the silent talk, because that's what you're going to hear. And then I'd say the third thing to do is to start writing in your journal. You got to make a habit of that as well, because when you write in your journal, you start to open up your floodgates. You start to become much more open to allow your guides in. You get to a place where your guides will start to work through you. A lot of times people do this and you're surprised by what they hear. Sometimes they'll be receiving information from their higher self, their soul, right? Other times they'll be receiving information from their guides. You may have read some of my articles that I've written where I've been inclined to sit down at my computer and just start writing. I'm like, wow, this is okay, whatever. And I just start to write, and I just let myself get into a really neutral, calm, quiet position where my eyes are barely open, and I just let my fingers do the walking. And next thing I know, I'm typing out this fabulous stuff, and I go back to read it and like, holy smokes. So more often than not, you'll be surprised. In the beginning, it may just sound like you, so don't worry about that. It's going to take time. But over a while, you'll start to notice that your language that you write down begins to change. And as that information begins to change, guess who it is? It's going to be your guides. So that's one thing to consider. So start writing in your journal. Make that a habit as well. And also, you've got to get into a place of just asking. Remember, we talked about asking for what you want. Now you got to start asking for a sign. Start saying, okay, I want that pink elephant. Show me, if you're around, show me the pink elephant. There's a great story of a woman who said, I want to know spirit. I want my spirit guide to come around and say, come on, spirit guide, show me that you're around. If you're around, show me a pink elephant. And she's kind of like, it's not going to happen. She gets back to her office the next morning, turns on her computer, and what's the first thing that she sees on her computer? A pink elephant. How often do you see a pink elephant just appear on your computer? She's like, whoa, okay. Sometimes these signs are going to be much more subtle. Sometimes they'll be, like that pink feather that shouldn't be around, right? Or maybe it's a white feather, or maybe it's the tap on your shoulder. Some people say, yes, that could be my loved one. But if you've asked for a specific sign from your spirit guide, if you specifically ask, spirit guide, show me the sign in this way, the pink elephant, the bunny rabbit, the purple feather, whatever it is, and you make the intention about the guide, then it's the guide that's going to show you. Then you can know that's what's going to happen. In fact, I can remember doing that during a point when I was very, very skeptical. I was like, this isn't going to work. I remember being in my office once. I was leaving my office, and I was going to in the garage to get my car. And sure enough, there's this perfectly white feather inside a garage. I'm like, wait a second, why would a perfectly white, pristine white feather be in a garage? I mean, it wasn't a pigeon, because pigeons are like gray and gross, and so I was like, what is this? And it happened seconds after I'd asked for it. So the synchronicity on that one was too much for me to ignore. I'm like, all right, you sold me. Again, that's our human mind, right? That's our ego mind. Our ego mind wants to say, no, it's not possible. That's just, here's the reason why. And we come up with some logical reason. But if we allow our right side of our mind to open up, that creative side, guess what? That's going to tell you that it's here. So another thing is, when you have asked for that sign, what do you got to do? Then you got to ask for you got to not only ask, but you got to start paying attention. You got to pay attention to what you're given. You're going to be given that sign, and you're also going to be given the guidance. So pay attention. When Spirit comes to you and gives you that guidance, pay attention to what they're giving you. Start saying, oh, all right, I should be focusing more on grounding myself, or I should be focusing more on connecting to source energy, or I should be focusing more on my personal health, or I should be focusing on, fill in the blank. If you get that message from your spirit guide, pay attention to it, follow it up. They're telling you something for a reason. They're following something that's based on love, right? So that's kind of something. So that's really everything that's so important here. And I'm seeing all these great comments about, my God saying intention is everything, right? You see, so even the guides are saying intention is everything. And Gloria is saying, yes, I believe in the signs and receive so many signs. Now you're coming to expect them. And that's kind of the thing. It's like in the beginning, it's going to be like, you're right. These signs aren't going to mean anything. It's not going to happen. Or, yeah, that's just coincidence or whatever. But after a while, it's going to be like you get so many of them. It's kind of like you've been beaten over the head. You've been beaten with a silly stick, right? With all these signs. You're like, oh, all right, I give. After a while, I'm like, I get the idea. You're there. Okay, I'll listen to the guidance. So another thing, number 6, you've always got to stay in the attitude of gratitude, right? The attitude of gratitude is huge. Not only just for your own life, because if you focus just on your own gratitude and you start thinking, okay, I'm going to be grateful, then that's going to attract gratitude and all the love and kindness to you. So attract gratitude, and Spirit's going to give you that gratitude. So that's a big one. Number 7, another thing to focus on is you've just got to let go. You've got to release. You got to trust and surrender. That's a big thing in mediumship and spirituality is the phrase trust and surrender. You just got to let it go. Whatever comes, comes, because it's our ego mind that wants to stay in control. Allow that ego mind just to go bye-bye. Just release. Just trust and surrender. Spirit's got control. They know what they're doing. Let them come in. So release, trust, and surrender, okay? And then number 8, one of the things you got to focus on is just be a child. Allow that inner child to come to the surface. Why are children so happy? It's because anything's possible. They're allowing that endless possibility, the infinite ability of choices and things, and they're always full of joy. Why are they full of joy? Because they're no longer limiting themselves. And everything is possible. So allow yourself to be joyful. Allow yourself to be the inner child that's way down deep. It's no longer the adult. I got to go do this. Just be full of fun and happiness and joy. Allow the joy to bubble up to the surface. Allow your life to be fulfilled and filled with joy, right? So that's something that's very important. So be the inner child. Allow the inner child to come to the top. And number 9, if you start to interact with Spirit, you might want to start asking for some names. You may not get any names. That's okay. Because your spirit guides will start to show themselves to you. They will start to give you names when they believe that you are ready to receive this information, when they're feeling that you're ready to see them, you're ready to hear about them, you're ready to know them better. And in the beginning, you may get some stuff that's like really mundane, right? Ask for a name, and the immediate first thing that you hear, that's their name. But the point is that names are actually not all that important. It's just a way for you to identify them. The initial names that you may be getting are a way for you to start saying, hey, hi, John, how you doing? Or hi, Sarah, how you doing? I mean, the first time I asked names years ago and I started contacting my spirit guides, it's hysterical. I said, okay, spirit guides, give me a name. And the first thing that I got Sarah and I got Frank. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I got Sarah and Frank. You couldn't come up with something more original, like, gobbledygook, some phenomenal Egyptian name? No, I got Sarah and Frank. So I was very disappointed, but I wasn't ready for it, right? But it was a way at least I could identify them. I could say, okay, hi, Sarah, how you doing? Hi, Frank, how you doing? But those are the initial names. As time went on and I became more open to them and I started communicating with them more and I started realizing that, hey, this is important, then they started to change. And then I started getting more names. And then I started getting these beautiful names. And finally, after a long time, I started to see them. And that's when the magic began to happen. So it's a state of evolution. Over time, you learn, right? So just ask for names. And lastly, the big thing that you can do is know that you have your own psychic ability. You have this ability. Remember, I say this 1,000 times. Everybody's got these dormant abilities lying beneath the surface. It goes way back millions of years before we could speak. We all have this ability. Trust in that ability. Trust in your psychic ability. You have these 7 non-physical senses that you can connect with, and that's how you're going to be able to perceive not only your spirit guides, but all spirit, all the spirit people that are surrounding you. We each have 5 to 10 spirit people around us at any given time. It may shock us, but we're surrounded by the love of spirit. And that's something to always focus on. So those are some of the ways that you can really begin to connect with your spirit loved ones and your spirit guides. So I wanted to kind of get that out there. I wanted to kind of give you the sense that spirits around you. And like I said, right here, they may kind of look like may look like angels. You may feel like they're angels. They may feel like angelic love, but the concept is the same. So I hope that gets you to a place where you know that you can connect with spirit, that you know that you are with spirit, and that your guides are with you, and they're always loving you. If this is something that you found useful, if this is something that you found helpful to you, and you like this kind of material, and this is something that you really want to keep getting, alerts on, then subscribe below, because there should be a subscribe button here, right? That's going to help you to stay on top of the information that I'm bringing out. I hope you like this information. I hope that's something that's helpful for you. So just let me know. So I will thank you then. So I send to you love and light. This is Chris. Bye for now.